One of the most frequently asked questions for advisors giving advice to their clients on pensions will be, what should I do if I trigger an annual allowance charge? What should I do if I'm caught by the upcoming tapering of the annual allowance down from £40,000 to £10,000 for high income individuals? Well, what should you do? Indeed, let's have a look at the factors first of all in making that decision, because people will need advice on it. First of all, most obviously, the annual allowance charge neutralises tax relief at the front end. So basically you get no tax relief on your contribution, whoever makes it. 75% of what you put in though will also be subject to tax, because that's the nature of emerging benefits from pension arrangements. They're taxed as income apart from the much loved tax-free cash, the PCLS, the pension commencement lump sum. The other factors to take into account, but even though it's no tax relief at the front end, money in a pension fund does qualify for tax-free growth and income, and the other factor is it's quite inheritance tax efficient. However, if you looked at the pure numbers and the pure maths, you'd have to say that if you don't get tax relief at the front end, given that tax outcome when you take benefits, you're going to have to work pretty hard to make a case for putting money into a pension arrangement if you have another choice. So let's look at those other choices. First, in relation to personal contributions. Well, there you absolutely have a choice as to what to do with that money. You put in the money and don't get tax relief on it, it's your money, and you've got alternatives. If you put it into the pension fund, as I just explained, you are going to pay tax on 75% of it when you take it out. You get tax-free growth in the meantime, sure, but if you put money into something else, another type of investment, you certainly will only pay tax on the income and gains. You won't pay tax on the money that you put in again. Makes the pension seem hugely inefficient where you don't get tax relief at the front end. That has to be borne in mind. The tax-free growth aspect and the inheritance tax aspect has to work very, very hard to overcome that no relief at the front end and tax at the back end in a way that it just probably can't. The only thing that may cause you to make a personal contribution despite all of that is that unless you make a personal contribution, your company won't make a contribution to you. So it's a matching type of scheme. Then you've got a commercial decision to make. You lose out on the tax relief, but you'd lose out on the corporate contribution if you don't make the contribution. Right. Now, company contributions, well, is there an alternative is the main thing. The maths are pretty much the same as personal contributions if you have an alternative. If there's an alternative of, I'll just take the money as salary and I'll invest it myself, then you're probably better off doing that. If the company says it's take it or leave it, just take the money as a pension contribution or you'll get nothing, then there's only one decision, take the money. It's not going to be as good as if you get the money and there's no tax on it, but it's better than nothing. So basically, that's broadly the parameters. People will need advice, and maybe even more people will need advice if some form of annual allowance restriction comes through in what we're expecting in the shape of pension tax relief reform. We're going to get something on that, of course. Action, what should you do? Take advice. Advisors should take the opportunity, perhaps even accept the responsibility of speaking to their clients who could be affected by this. And we have a couple of really good bulletins on this subject of should I make contributions if I exceed my annual allowance within Techlink.